Thank you for watching this channel. This channel provides easy to understand and excellent books in Japan in English, and provides useful information for practical equipment design. We will start to explain based on M&A design standard book in Japan. We call Brown book. This time, we will explain about selection of supply water piping. Section 6. Selection of supply water piping. As of design criteria, Item 1. This time, we will explain about the selection of piping for 3 locations. 1. For incoming water, it can be select from average water volume per hour. 2. For pumping up water, it can be select from volume of water for pumping up. 3. For after terrace tank to water point, it can be select from simultaneous use flow rate. Item 3. About incoming water, if there is a risk of uneven subsidence, take measures to prevent damage to buried pipes. For example, we can consider use flexible piping connections, and add rigid RCC base from the structure as countermeasures. Item 1. To add isolation valve for each branch for flow. Item 2. Minimum piping size is basically 20A. Item 3. Water meter size to be follow the piping size. Item 4. To provide isolation valve when put piping from outside to building. Item 5. To provide flexible piping when put piping from outside to building. Item 6. To provide one faucet for maintenance between city water and receiving tank. Item 7. Do not provide supply water in electrical room, server room, elevator pit. It is better to avoid other rooms where high risk of water leakage too. Item 8. Do not put buried piping under building. If required, to consider trench piping or pit system. Item 9. To consider water point near car parking, sewage treatment, garden. And also, consider isolation valve for garden water. Item 10. About pressure reduction valve. Number 1. Standard selection is direct action type. Number 2. The rated flow is selected from the peak maximum flow. Item 12. Supply water pipe doors not embed in external wall. Supply water is pressurized piping. Therefore it will be shake. It is one of the cause of making clack on the wall or floor. Therefore should be avoid embed in external wall. First, we will proceed selection of incoming water piping. Item 1. Water flow to be use average water volume per hour. Item 2. Calculated piping friction based on the following parameters. Pressure drop for water meter can be select from this table. Pressure drop for water control valve. And equivalent length each elbows. These information can be select from this table. This table can be used to calculate equivalent length for pump selection also. After calculate about piping friction, compare with the friction from the recommended flow velocity. We introduce the method as per Brown book. But considering practical use, it is easy to select from the recommended flow velocities. We will introduce the method of selection from recommended flow velocity. We use piping friction resistance diagram. It was made from Hazen-Williams equation. First, we already mentioned line for recommended water velocity. We put highlight this line. Second, put line about water flow. Third, check the size of pipe above the cross line. Then, we complete selection of piping size. We will explain another method. We use same piping friction resistance diagram. First, put value of friction. Second, put line about water flow. Third, check the size of pipe above the cross line. Then we complete selection of piping size. Okay, we finish incoming water sizing. Next, we will select pumping up water piping. Item 1, water flow to be used volume of water for pumping up. Item 2, piping size selection to be used piping friction resistance diagram. Selection method is same, first already mentioned line for recommended water velocity. We highlight this line. Second, put line about water flow. Third, check the size of pipe above the cross line. Then, we complete selection of piping size. Finally, we will select feeding pipe from terrace pump. Item 1, water flow to be used simultaneous use flow rate. How to calculate this value? We will explain. 1. Check the water supply load unit of each water point. We would like to introduce one of the summary table in Brown Book. We can pick up water supply load unit for each water equipment and point. Please see this diagram. For example, for third flow, we consider WC3 numbers and urinal 2 nose. In this case, total load unit become 40. For second flow, we consider WC4 numbers and urinal 2 nose. In this case, total load unit become 50. To be follow same considering for other flow and make summary for each piping line. Next, we are going to select flow rate based on prepared summary. We would like to introduce the table and diagram for simultaneous use flow rate for each piping line. Item 1, when water point is less than 100 numbers, use table 722. Item 2, when water point is over 100 nose, use fig 721. For example, in case load unit is 80, flow rate become 240 L per minute from table 721. With the same idea, in case load unit is 240, flow rate become 390 L per minute from table 721. This selection method can be summarized in the diagram below. We were able to decide simultaneous use flow rate each piping. Next, we are going to select piping size. We will use piping friction resistance diagram. Do you already know how to select? First already mentioned line for recommended water velocity. We highlight this line. Second, put line about water flow. Third, check the size of pipe above the cross line. Then we complete selection of piping size. Okay, then we can complete piping selection for each pipe. Good, thank you. We would like to introduce about diagrams. Depending on the piping material, different diagrams and elbow resistance values are used. Steel pipe inside PVC coated. PVC piping. Copper piping. Steel piping. SAS piping. Steel pipe inside heat resistance PVC coating. Polyethylene pipe. Thank you very much and see you next movies.